everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Bobbles and Berries podcast. My name is Ode, and I'm coming to you from Edinburgh in Scotland. It has been such a long time since I've been able to record a podcast. I was looking earlier when I posted my last episode, and it was mid-June, and now it's mid-September, so it's been 3 months. The summer has just been busy. I think it has for a lot of people, and so there's not really any other reason than that. But I'm back today and I'm really excited to share with you some of the things that I've made. If you are new here, welcome. This is my podcast where I talk about my knitting mostly, some sewing sometimes, some embroidery as well, all sorts of crafty things. And then if you are a returning viewer, then welcome back. Thank you for still being here. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think that's all I had to say for the introduction. It's been so long, I'm completely out of practice and I don't really know. If I forget something, I'll just say it later. If you have any questions about any of the things that I'm going to show, I put all the information in the description box below. I also update my Ravelry pretty well, or pretty okay, I guess. And I'm on Instagram as well, where I share some of the things that I make. And of course, if you have any other question, then please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Because it's been so long since I last recorded, I'm not going to talk about all the things that I made over the past 3 months because it would just be too long. But I've selected a few finished projects that I'm going to share with you. And then, of course, I will talk about the things that I'm working on right now. Shall we start then? Maybe I'll start with what I'm wearing right now. This is definitely not a new finished object or anything like that. I think this sweater is about a year old now. This is a no frills sweater by Petite Knit that I knitted in Jameson Smith yarn. I talk about it, I think, in my first or second episode. So if you want to go back and look at that if you have any information. But yeah, this is what I'm wearing right now. All right, let's get started with the first finished object that I'm going to show you. I thought I would show this slip over because I was working on it. It was a work in progress the last time I recorded a podcast. Obviously, it's been finished for a while now because it's been 3 months and I think I was mostly done by then. But yeah, this is the Friday slipover by Petite Knit. Like the creases is just because it was folded. It's not an issue with the sweater itself. It was just folded on a shelf. And it looks like this. I made the size small, which I don't think it's the smallest size. I think that might be an extra small. And it fits me just fine. As far as I can remember, I didn't make any modification to the pattern. Yeah, if I did, I don't remember what they are. And yeah, it fits me really well. I like the fit, I like the length. I think it falls just below my waist. The only thing is that I haven't worn it very much because by the time I finished it, it was, even in Scotland, it was a bit too warm to wear mohair. And then also I don't really have anything to wear it with. I do have a couple of white shirts that I could wear underneath, but yeah, I don't know. I want to make more things. I think I'm going to sew a dress or something to wear it with. I've been, like, my sewing mojo has come back. I was saying before I wasn't really sewing anymore, but it's really come back with the summer and I've been making a lot of dresses and I'm still making a bunch of dresses. And so I think I'll make a dress to wear that with. I think it'll look nice. The yarn that I used is yarn by Along Avec Anna. Again, I talk a lot about it in my previous episode, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but it's this yarn. It's 2 strands held together of merino and mohair silk, and the shade Tomette, which is like a nice warm dark pink kind of color. And so the merino is 100% superwash merino, 200 meters per 50 grams, so a true fingering weight yarn. And then the silk mohair is 210 meters per 25 grams, 72% fine kid mohair, and 28% mulberry silk. And I may have mentioned it in my previous episode, but I'm actually quite sensitive to mohair. A lot of mohair I can't really wear because I find them itchy. The ones that I've used anyway, like the drops and things like that. But this one really works for me. It's soft enough that like I can wear it just fine. So I think I don't tend to use a lot of mohair, generally speaking, because it's a bit too warm in some cases for me. It's also, like I said, like a lot of the time it's itchy for me. It also like sheds everywhere and everything. But this one I really like. It's really soft for my skin anyway. It doesn't shed nearly as much as the other ones that I've tried. So yeah, and Anna is coming out with a lot more colors, you know, like since she first started, she's added a few colors to her range. So I know that in the future, if I want mohair for a project and she's got the color that would work for me, then that's probably where I will buy it, basically. And yeah, I don't remember exactly how much I use. I think I bought 5 of each when I placed that order, with the intention to make a jumper or something like that. And then I decided to make the slipover, so obviously I didn't use nearly as much as I had. So I have 2 full skeins of each left, and then I have a little bit of a third skein. So yeah, I guess I used a little bit over 2.5 skeins for this, of each for this this garment. And I'll see what I make with the rest, maybe a hat or something like that, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know really what else I have to say. The pattern is broken stitch, and I really like the details here when you pick up stitches for the armhole or for the neckline. Like, I think it looks so nice, just that line that keeps going down like this. I like it because you knit flat to under the armholes and then you knit in the round, and my tension is a bit different when I knit flat and when I knit in the round, and I feel like when I have the two next to each other in a project, it usually shows, and I'm not a massive fan of that. Honestly, it's not so bad, but it bothers me a little bit. But because this is broken rib, then it has a texture, so it doesn't really show, and I like that a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to wear this a bit later. Pink for me is a more of a spring color, so I will probably hold on to this until the spring, and until then I'll make a couple of dresses to wear it with. I'm thinking like maybe something like a fabric that would be a bit light in color with some flowers on it, and maybe like a midi skirt or a long skirt or dress with like nice sleeves, like either like puffy sleeves, short sleeves, or like, do you call them like butterfly sleeves, like kind of wavy sleeves like this? I don't know. I have a bunch of pattern. I need to find fabric that I like, and yeah, that's the first finished object. The second finished object that I wanted to show you is a summer t-shirt, a summer tee. And I don't know if I'll get back to it in a minute, but I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast before, but up until very recently, I wasn't really into summer knits, because to me it felt that knitted things were more autumn and winter, and then in spring and summer I tended to sew a lot more. I would sew the garments that I would wear as opposed to knit them. But I decided to give it a go this year, and I have to say I really like it. So I think I probably won't knit summer things as much as I knit other things, but I think I will try and make a few t-shirts and things like that. I think it will be really nice. And so yeah, the first one that I made this year is this one, and that is the Florencia tee or pullover from Lykke magazine, from the one that came out last spring, so spring 2022. And I made it out of this really lovely sort of bronze colored yarn. I'll give you the details in a second. And yeah, so let me tell you all about this. So the pattern is from this book, this magazine, and it is this one. I think it's quite a popular one from this magazine, so you probably have seen it on Instagram. It's really lovely. I really like it. It was really fun to knit as well. And I made, let me see. I made the second size. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sizes, and I made the second one. Although I think my gauge was, like, it fits just fine, but I think my gauge was completely off compared to the pattern. So yeah, that's just what it is. I think also because the pattern calls for, the yarn that is used in the pattern has wool in it. I don't know if, I can't remember now if it's full wool merino or like wool cotton or something, but it does have wool, so it has the bit of like the springiness or the stretchiness of wool. And the one that I used is full plant fiber. I wanted to try, and so I used this yarn, the Esayer, sorry, it's all like crumpled, the Esayer Trio yarn. And it is made of 50% flax, so linen, 30% cotton, and 20% bamboo, 350 meters per 50 grams. And the colorway is Nougat. This is what it looks like. I don't know, the light is a bit weird. I don't know if it shows well, but it's a really nice bronze kind of color. It has a bit of a sheen to it, I think, from the linen. It catches the light really nicely, and yeah, it's really, really lovely yarn. It has a really nice drape. It's still a bit, because I haven't worn it very much, it's still a bit dry or rough the way linen is, but I'm sure it'll soften. I'll soften over time. The reason that I haven't worn it very much, funnily enough, is because I had this grand idea of trying summer knits in mid or late July, so that's when I started it, and I didn't finish it until early September when it was already too cold to wear it. So there you go. I might still wear it as a tee with a cardigan underneath, over the top or something like that, but yeah, I haven't worn it very much, but it looks really, really nice. Like I said, the stitch counts that I got are the ones that the pattern calls for, but you knit it bottom up, and so I tried it on as best I could, but I didn't do nearly as many repeats of the pattern as the pattern calls for, because it would have been, I think, stitch-wise, my gauge is somewhat okay, but length-wise, it was just like row-wise, it was just completely off. So I just sort of tried it on as I went, and as best you can try a bottom-up top, but yeah, the fit is really nice. I also didn't go as high up with the neckline as the pattern calls for, because I think on the pattern it calls, like, the neckline goes almost a little bit higher than this that I'm wearing right now, but it doesn't have short rows in the back, so it doesn't show so much on the pictures of the magazine itself, but from people who've made this, it shows like it comes up really high, like the way it does when you don't do short rows, and I really didn't like that. I don't really like that feeling, generally speaking, and especially not in summer when I'm too hot. I need my neck to be, I don't know, to not have anything around it. So I stopped earlier, basically, and so it has a bit of a wider neckline than what I'm wearing right now, and it's really, really great. So yeah, I can't wait to wear it more. It fits really nice. It goes just to my waist. So again, I'm planning to wear with that to make a summer dress. I was thinking, because it's also kind of see-through, obviously, because of the pattern, so I need to wear something underneath. So I was thinking of making a dress with like spaghetti straps or something, and maybe like a cream color or natural linen color or something like that. Yeah, I'll see. Again, that will be for next summer most likely, so we'll see. Then I'm sure I'll have time to make a dress. So yeah, that is what it is. I think that's all I have to say. So it's from Liner magazine, but I think the designer is she's Unit Toronto on Instagram, I think. She's designed a few things, and yeah, really fun to knit, really easy. Like I said, it was my first time using plant fibers, and so I looked it up online first, and I read people say like, oh, if you knit plant fibers, you need to go down at least a couple needle sizes because your gauge is going to be very different, or we recommend you use wooden needles as opposed to metal needles because it is more slippery. I don't have, well, I do now, but I didn't have wooden needles at the time, and I was like, oh, I'll just do it on my chow goose, that's fine, I'll manage. And it wasn't more slippery. It was completely fine. Like I didn't lose stitches or anything, but it made me want to get wooden needles just to have a little bit of extra grip if I'm gonna make more things out of plant fibers in the future. And yeah, my gauge was completely off. I used the needle size recommended, and it was fine, but yeah, it's not, definitely not the same as knitting with wool, I can absolutely tell. But yeah, I really like it. It worked really well for me. I really like it. I can't wait to wear it. The only thing is that because it's cotton and plant fibers, it just takes forever to dry. It just takes forever to dry. I don't have a dryer, and like I probably wouldn't put it in the dryer anyway, but yeah, it takes forever to dry. So that's just what it is. Yeah, I will definitely knit more summer stuff in the future. I have a couple of patterns that I have in mind. I might get some of the new cotton or like summer yarn by Durham Natura. I think they came out with it this year, and it's a blend of merino and cotton, and I think I would really like to try that. There's one of the colorways that I like, the others I'm not super keen on, but maybe they'll come out with more next year. So yeah, I think that's all the rambles I have. That's all the things I have to say about this. Oh no, one more thing. So one thing that I mean, you probably know that already if you do summer knits, but that I was reading about when I was doing a little bit of research on how to handle plant yarns, basically, it was that obviously it doesn't have the grip that wool has, and so weaving the ends can be a bit tricky if you don't want them to become undone, pretty much. And so I was looking online on how to best do that, and what I find is someone was saying to knit your end with the next few stitches, over the next 10 stitches, so it's caught in the knitting, in the pattern, and I found that that worked really well for me. I was worried that it was going to show because obviously it was going to be thicker, like for this. So the yarn that I showed you is a lace weight, and so I held it double to have the fingering weight that I needed, and so that meant that where I would knit my end in with the rest of the project, there would be 4 strands together for a few stitches, and I was really worried that that was going to show that it was thicker, but it didn't. So that was really nice, and so that worked well for me. So I did that. I knitted the ends together with the rest of the row for about 10 stitches, and then I tied a knot and then wove in the end a bit. And again, I haven't worn it very much, but so far nothing has come undone and nothing has moved or anything like that, so I guess it worked for me. If there's other ways or better ways or ways that you like to weave in the ends of plant fibers so they don't come undone, then please write it down in the comments below, because I'm sure me and everyone else would love to find out about that. So yeah, those are all the finished objects that I was going to share with you. I made a few other things, not that many to be honest, because work has been extremely busy over the summer, and I think the few other things that I made were socks, and they were gifts, and I no longer had them with me anyway, so yeah, I won't show those, but they're on my Ravelry and on my Instagram if you want to see. All right, let's move to works in progress. I have 3 works in progress that I would like to show you: 1 jumper, 1 sock, and 1 hat. And let's start with the socks. So the socks are just vanilla socks. You know how much I love socks. I mean, I love knitting socks. I wear them a lot in the winter anyway, like every day, so I will get a use out of 5 million pairs of knitted socks anyway, so I never really feel guilty about making more of these. And right now I'm knitting stripy socks, which I absolutely love, so I'm keeping them in this project bag, which is one of mine. If you're a new viewer, I have a shop where I sell and make embroidered project bags, notions pouches, stitch markers, and I will link everything down below. I've got some exciting news on that front, but I'll keep it to the end. But yeah, so this is one that I'm using at the moment. It's my bumblebees design. I design and embroider and sew everything myself. And the socks are these. They're really fun, I think. They're self-striping. And this is what they look like. So I've got this much done on the first sock. I think I measured it on my sock ruler just before recording, and I think I need to do another 6 rounds of the foot, and then I'll do the toe in the light gray as well. So that's the first one, is like this, and then the second one is yeah, I'm still on the gusset decreases. So yeah, so the yarn is self-striping yarn by the little gray girl. It's the first time I'm using her yarn. It's really lovely. It's a high twist, which I don't usually use high twist. I don't really know why, but it's fine. And yeah, self-stripe sock set, high twist merino, 75% squash merino, 25% nylon. It was one of those sock set that is not 100 gram of main and of the main color and then 20 gram mini. It's a 50 gram main color and a 20 gram mini, which is really nice, I think, because 50 grams of the main color and 20 of a mini is enough for me to make a pair of socks, and I have pretty much nothing left. I have like a gram or 2 left over at the end, which is absolutely brilliant because I don't really want to hoard leftover yarn. Yeah, I think I bought this last year at Glasgow School of Yarn Festival, and yeah, I'm knitting it just now. What I did, so there's been a lot of, I mean not a lot, but there's been a few adventures with this yarn. So first of all, when I wound it, I was like, oh, brilliant. I always knit my 2 socks together, and I was like, I'll just pull one, I'll pull from the center, and the other sock I'll pull from the outside. But then I realized that if I did that, the stripes would be reversed on each sock, and that was a bit of a problem for me. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. So what I did is that I wound the yarn until like about 25 grams, and then I wound the rest to make sure that I would start with the same color, and then so that worked out just fine. And then yeah, and then the other thing that happened, sorry, I lost my train of thoughts just now. The other thing that happened is that I don't know what I did, but I did the heel flap a lot longer than I usually do. My vanilla socks are 64 stitches around, and so the heel flap is 32 stitches like this, and then also 32 down, and I have, I think, 38, and I don't know how that happened. I was away on vacation when I was doing this, and I guess I got distracted or whatever. And I didn't realize this until I had done the whole heel flap, and I was doing the heel turn, and my stitch, like my usual count, was just wrong, and I was like, what is going on? And yeah, but I didn't want to undo everything, so I just went with it. I readjusted my stitch counts for the heel turn, and I also meant that I readjusted my sort of stitch count for the gusset decreases, because then it sort of moved my beginning of round a few stitches and things like that. But it was all fine in the end, and I wrote everything down so I would do exactly the same on the other sock. What that means though is that I used a little bit more yarn than usual for the heel, and I hope that I will have enough to make the toe, but I think I will, because I always have a little bit left over, and the toes don't really use up that much yarn, so I think it'll be fine. It'll all be fine. But yeah, just some self-striping sock yarn. Yeah, I like self-striping. It's really fun. It's very bright color. I mean, it's not very bright color, but it's quite colorful for the kind of things that I guess I usually wear outside, but at home I like with socks, I like I just go with whatever color I enjoy. I don't really worry about it. It's gonna fit other stuff in my wardrobe and all of this, because I usually mostly wear my socks at home anyway, and yeah, it's just fun. So yeah, yeah, that's all I have to say, I think. Oh yeah, I'll show you. I'm using one of my own stitch markers. I don't know if you can see very well. I'll put a picture of the whole set and what it looks like, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna focus or not, or yeah, probably not. But it's one of my own stitch markers. I'm using one on the other side as well, so they're embroidered stitch marker. I embroidered them on felt, and yeah, these two come from the same set of 5, and I'll put a picture here just to show you if you want to have a look. So yeah, those are my vanilla socks. I'm nearly done with those. Yeah, now I guess for the past like several months now, I've been really happy because I've been able to knit stockinette without looking, which obviously it takes a bit of time to get used to doing this. When you start knitting, you always look at your hand, and so doing this now means that I can knit really fast on socks and things like that while I'm doing other things, while I'm watching TV and things like that. So that's been great. So yeah, nothing else to say about socks. The next work in progress that I will show you is the hat that I was telling you about. And so the hat that I'm making, I'll show you the pattern before showing you what mine is. It is the Sky Hill hat from this book, Knits About Winter, which is a really, really lovely book by Emily Foden. I think it was published by Pom Pom magazine. And so it's this hat. It's the hat that's on the cover. I'll show you another picture. There you go. It is a really lovely hat. So it comes in two options. So there's this one, which is sort of tall. It comes up over quite high over your head. And then there's also this one, like the pink, which is it really fits the top of your head, and then it has a little tassel or something, which I guess you don't have to add if you don't want it, or you can add a pom-pom or something. And that's the one I'm making. I'm making the shorter one, the more fitted one. The mittens, there's a mitten pattern that matches that is also available in this book, but I don't think I will make them. I don't know yet. Anyway, so mine looks like this. I'm keeping it in another one of my bags, which is my very newest bag. I just released a autumn collection, and this is the bag of this collection. I'm sorry, the light is absolutely terrible, but yeah, little mushrooms. I like it a lot. And the collection was released last week. I have all the pictures that I need for my website, so now I can actually use it, which I'm really excited about. And this is my hat. So as you can tell, I haven't done much on this. But yeah, I like it. I really like it. It's really fun to knit. This is what it looks like. The yarn that I'm using is yarn by Jude of Stranded Dye Works. How can I do this? Yeah. It is their Merino DK base, 100% superwash Merino DK in the shade Coffee Beans, and that's exactly that shade. Like, you know those coffee beans when they're like nice and shiny and they catch the light and everything? This yarn is absolutely like that, and it's amazing. In the sun, it has like golden, a little kind of a golden glow or something. It's absolutely amazing. I've got 2 skeins of that. I think I only need 1 or less than 1 for the hat. It's 230 meters per 115 grams. And yeah, so like I said, I have 2 skeins. I think maybe you can see here the depth of color. So I'll use 1 skein for the hat, and the other one I would like to make a cowl. And I saw on the project page of the hat that someone had made a matching cowl by just casting on a few more repeats and then knitting a tube, and that was it. So I might actually do that. It's a garter stitch hat, which I have never done before. It's also a reversible hat, because that's one side, but then the other side looks pretty much the same. So yeah, I'm also using one of my stitch markers on that, if it shows at all. It's a little acorn, It's from my autumn collection as well. I put a picture here of the whole set. And yeah, so I'm making some modifications for this pattern because let me look at the book. It is made for, the recommended yarn is DK held double, so it's quite thick. It's supposed to be knit on 5mm needles, and yeah, two strands of DK held double. And to me that was just too thick. I thought that was too thick. It was going to be too warm, too bulky, too all of this. So I decided to do 1 strand of DK instead. And I looked at other hats that I'd done before to sort of see what kind of needle size I used and everything. And so I'm using a 4mm instead. And so what I'm doing to compensate for because obviously if my needle size and yarn is thinner and smaller, then the hat is going to be smaller if I do like the stitch count that the pattern recommends. So if I'd done it with the yarn recommended with the DK held double, I think it would have done the first size of the pattern. And so now I think I'm doing the 3rd size, so quite big with the recommended gauge, but I think it's going to be fitting me just fine with the yarn and the gauge that I have right now. So yeah, I'm a bit curious. I didn't do a swatch because I can't be bothered to do swatch for hats. So I'm a little bit curious to see how it's going to grow, because garter stitch tends to grow quite a bit, as you know, especially in like height, like vertically. And so I was a bit concerned that I was going to grow too much. I'm not like stretched like width wise, I'm not really too worried about that, but yeah. However, because there's that stitch here, which is like a slipped kind of stitch, like kind of thing, and so there's one here, there's one on the back and one here, and so there's some all around. So I think they are a bit stretchy, but I don't think they're as stretchy as the garter, and so they might sort of hold things into place a bit. Also, I think my gauge is fairly tight, so that makes the knitting a bit dense, and I think it won't grow as much. And it might just be a matter of me being very careful when I block it and not stretch it too much, because the yarn itself has a really nice bounce. So I think once it's dry, it's not going to grow on me. It's just going to be when it's going to be wet. So I'll have to be careful about that. But yeah, we'll see. And if it really doesn't work out, then I can just frog it and make something else with the yarn. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say about this. My sky helm hat and my little mushrooms bag. That's my 2nd work in progress, and my 3rd work in progress is a jumper, which I'm just realizing now I didn't put it on a longer cable, so it might look a bit weird, but it is the Cinnamon Mum pullover by Titi Lutsak. I'll put a picture and the name because obviously I can't pronounce it properly. It is a beautiful jumper with like a textured yoke. It's a round yoke jumper, and it has texture here. It has some just at the bottom of the body before the ribbing, and I think it has maybe a little bit at the sleeve, at the cuffs, but yeah, this is what it looks like. Got yarn flying around. This is what I have so far. Oh yeah, you can see the detail really nicely. I think the color is actually coming out quite nice as well, quite true to color. So it's got some cables, it's got a bit of lace. I don't know if you can see, how can I do that? Yeah, it's got like little bits of lace here, which obviously will show better once it's blocked. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I finished obviously the yoke, you can see, and the body, and now I've just started the textured bit at the bottom, and then I'll do the sleeves. There's no more texture to do at the top of the sleeve, so I just need to put on like short needles and knit down, and then do the cuffs. And yeah, I think it looks really lovely. It fits me really well. When I tried it on around the bust, it fits really well. it's a little bit tight here, which I think is a good thing because that's something that I'm going to stretch out when I block it. And also the sleeves, usually like pull it down a bit and stretch it out, so that's going to look great. And the length is going to be just fine. The yarn that I'm using for it is a Woolly Knit 100% British wool cone in the shade Loden, like a green, like that kind of green. And the reason I know that this is going to fit fine is because Woolly Knit British wool doesn't really move when you block it. I've made another jumper out of that in a navy, I think, I don't know if you remember. And then I swatched, and it really doesn't move that much with blocking, so which is, I think, really nice, because then you know that what you're knitting is what you're going to get at the end. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm making, I didn't write down what size I was making. I'm making the second size, I think. And yeah, I really love Tetty's patterns. They're so beautiful. There's another one that I want to make that has, I think she made it in like a dark yellow gold kind of color that has like lovely texture here as well. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put a picture here of the ones that I'm talking about, and I have yarn for that as well. So yeah, I absolutely love her patterns. They're absolutely beautiful. And yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm holding the yarn double because it's a DK weight, but the Woolly Knit cones are fingering weight, kind of light fingering actually. So I'm holding it double, and I'm knitting it on 4.5 millimeters. And right now I can't remember if that's what the pattern calls for, if I had to change. I don't know, but 4.5 I got gauged. So yeah, this is what it is. I don't really know if I have anything else to say about it. It's not difficult at all. It does require a bit of, oh no, I know what, sorry, completely all over the place. I know what I wanted to say that was really cool about this sweater. Is the construction is really fun, because you cast on here. You do a provisional cast on of, like, I guess the part of the yoke where you have all of the stitches, the most stitches, and then you knit up to here, you bind off here. It's nice too because she recommends doing a regular bind off to have, as opposed to like a tubular bind off or something, to not have a lot of stretch, so it like holds well, it doesn't gape or move or whatever. So you do provisional cast on here, knit up, and then you pick up your stitches and then knit down. And I think that's really fun. I think that's really brilliant. It makes it, I think it works for this pattern probably. I'm sure that's why she chose it. I think it's also quite nice because you start with the most stitches and then you decrease, and then when you're done doing this, like you pick up, I think you do maybe, I don't know, a few rounds of stockinette where you have all your stitches on, but then you divide for the sleeves and the body really quickly, so you don't have that many stitches on your needles again. And yeah, I think it's just really pleasant. It's like those, like Fiber Tales does this sometimes, or a couple of other designers when they design shawls and they have you cast on all of the stitches first and then you do it decreasing. And I think that's just kind of nice from like the experience of knitting it kind of way. Like I think it's because when you're finishing a project, or when you spend like so long, like, and so much concentration doing the yoke, and then you have 400, 300, however many stitches on your needles, it can be a bit not discouraging, but I don't know, a bit tiring, or you're just really looking, I'm just really looking forward to dividing for the sleeves anyway. So yeah, that's my current whip. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it fairly soon, because I want to cast on something else. I'm at that point where I want to finish something because of something else, you know, like, does it do this to you as well? It does this for me when I read or when I knit. Like, yeah, I'm not quite finished, but I'm already really looking forward to the next thing. And so that sort of gives me the energy to like power through and really finish the project and be able to wear it. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Again, I'm gonna have to probably make myself a couple of dresses to wear it with, because I don't really have, I have like a linen, natural linen colored dress right now that I could wear it with. But yeah, as you can tell, I've been on a massive sewing kick and I've been sewing a lot of dresses. I've decided that I'm not done with trousers and jeans, but I kind of don't really enjoy wearing them anymore. I never find trousers that I like. Jeans, I have some, but I think they're not that comfortable, are they? Or the ones that I have anyway, maybe I need to find better ones, but the one that I have were not the most comfortable, and especially in the summer, they're just so hot. Like, it's just, I don't know, I'm not liking them as much, and right now I'm liking dresses a lot. I wear them with tights and boots in the winter, and with sneakers or something in the summer, and I find that they're so comfortable. I really enjoy sewing them as well. So yeah, I've been wearing a lot of dresses lately and making a lot of dresses, and I like it a lot. So yeah, I'll make some dresses to go with that as well. But it's a really lovely pattern. It's not difficult. I would highly recommend it. It's really not difficult. It's really well written. She takes you through all the steps. It's really lovely, and I would highly recommend checking out her other patterns. I'm going to show you the stitch markers that I'm using on that. It's one of mine too. It's a little mushroom that matches the project bag that I showed earlier, and I will put a picture of the set. It's the set of 3 mushroom stitch markers that I made, and yeah, I'll just put a picture up there. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, I think it is. I will show you hopefully next time when I record. It won't be 3 months from now, hopefully, and this will be done, hopefully. All right. I'm just gonna have a sip of water. So that's all. Those were all the projects that I wanted to show you, and I guess I can move on to acquisitions and plans, knitting plans. Obviously I'm not going to show you, like, I don't even remember what I acquired over the summer, all of it. I didn't acquire that much knitting wise. I think I got a fair amount of fabric that I've been using, and some that are waiting to be used. They're just right here, but yeah, I've got a small selection of things that I wanted to show you. So first I will start with a cone of yarn. If you know me, you know that I love my cones of yarn, and this is yarn that I'd ordered in France. It is from a French mill, I guess, or I think they've got the sheep and the mill and everything. So called Laine Paysanne, and yeah, it's one that I ordered a little while ago, and I had it delivered to my dad's at home in France, and he came to visit in July, and so he brought it with me. It's a massive cone. It's 1 kilo, and yeah, I don't know if you can see the colors so well. I might try and put a picture from their website, because I think it's better. But yeah, it's this lovely massive cone of yarn. It is a blend, so it's a grayish, I guess they call it. It's like a gray beige. It's a blend of 2 types of wool from 2 types of sheep and yeah, of animals basically. One is merino, so it's 25% merino, so that's the natural cream white color, I guess, and it's 75% Rouge du Roussillon, which is, I'll put a picture of the sheep here. It's a breed of sheep that has like a red kind of color, like earth red kind of color, and so it makes for this really nice natural beige but warm kind of color. And so, like I said, the cone is 1 kilograms, and like you could choose different thickness. They had sort of like fingering, DK, Aran, I think. And so I went for the fingering one, which is, it's light fingering, I would say. I don't know if you can, oh, maybe you can see the color, not too bad here. But it's a 2-ply light fingering, because I thought, obviously with a kilo of yarn, I can do a lot of things. And so I thought that was the most sort of versatile. Like, I could use it as fingering by itself. I could use it with mohair. I could use it held double to have a DK gauge. And yeah, it just felt like the easiest thing to get the most use out of. So yes, this is what I have. I can't wait to start using it. I'm going to start using it after I'm done with my green jumper that I just showed you. And I would like to make a sort of like a basic beige cream jumper. The issue that I have now that I'm on my like dressmaking sewing kick is that I love all the lovely fabrics, but I'm struggling a bit to match them with my jumpers. And so I think what I need at the moment is a basic beige cream kind of jumper and then a basic gray one, because I think those would go with a lot of things, a lot of dresses, a lot of things that I have. So yeah, that's my plan. And what I'm gonna make is a pattern called the honey sweater, I think it is. I don't remember the name of the designer, but I'll put it here. It's a bit similar to this. It's a basic raglan, but it has some nice eyelet details here, which I think is really nice. And I think it's knit out of a DK gauge. I think it's mohair and fingering, so I'll just do two strand of mohair fingering on this one. I'll just use this held double, and I think it will look really nice, and it will go with a lot of things. So that's acquisition number 1 from a while ago that finally made it to me in July this year, and I'm now finally able to show you. The second acquisition is also yarn, and it is this absolutely gorgeous yarn. So yesterday and today is Perth Festival of Yarn. I went yesterday and I bought this. I'm gonna show it to you. You can see like the color is pretty true. It's like a dark warm green. It has an amazing sheen, and that is because it is yarn made of 50% alpaca and 50% rose fiber from like the rose, the flower, which I'd never heard of before. I mean, I know, so I bought it from the shop is called the Border Mill, and they're a yarn store, I guess, or place in the Scottish borders, and I'd heard of them. I'd seen them at shows before, and I've seen that yarn at that they were selling before, but they're the only one that I know who make that, and it is absolutely beautiful. It is extremely soft, alpaca and rose. Apparently the rose makes it quite sturdy, quite solid. It has a bit of the bounce of the yarn, but not. I feel like it behaves maybe a bit like a merino cotton kind of yarn, where it's a bit bouncy because of the wool, but also not as much because of the cotton. So yeah, and I got this in this beautiful dark green color. It is a bit of a heavy fingering, I guess you would say. It's 175 meters per 50 grams, so that's 350 per 100 grams. So yeah, a bit of a heavy fingering. I don't think it's quite sport just yet, but yeah. And I got 4 skeins of this because I want to make this pattern with this, and this is another acquisition that I wanted to show you. It is the Salt and Timber book by it's one of the newest books by Lykke magazine, Lykke Publishing. The designer is called Lindsay Fowler, and she makes I really love this book. I've from the moment they started showing previews and things like that, I knew that I wanted to get it, and I could see myself make like 90% of the patterns in that. And so the yarn that I bought, this rose and alpaca yarn, I bought it to make the Salt and Timber shawl, which is this. It's a kind of a crescent shaped shawl, and it has a stitch that looks like pine trees. So I thought a green yarn was quite appropriate for that. Let me see if I can find. I'm going to try and hide some stuff because of the pattern, but yeah, this is what it looks like, and I think it is really, really beautiful. It's got tassels. I don't know that I will keep the tassels, but we'll see. And yeah, it requires 732 meters of fingering weight yarn, so 2 skeins kind of. So yeah, I got this, and I'll hopefully I can cast this on pretty soon. But yeah, it's so soft. I can't wait to use it. It's gonna be so nice. And I guess that's gonna bring me on to my next acquisition. So this yarn is, like I said, very soft, very drapey, and I think it's gonna be quite slippery to knit with. And like I was saying before when I was talking about my summer tea, is that plant fiber yarns I found were quite slippery onto my metal needles, and so that prompted me to buy wooden needles because I heard that it helps. And so I got some wooden needles yesterday at Perth. I bought them from the Zakami stall. I mean, they're yarn dyers, but they also carry some needles, and I've been drooling over them forever, and they are the Lykke needles. I'm sure you know about them. A lot of people have been using them. They're I guess the original ones, the driftwood kind of grey ones, but I got the small set, and which looks like this. Oops. There we go. It looks like, I'm just holding it because these slip a bit, but not a big deal. Yeah, so I'm not gonna talk forever about the Lykke needles because a lot of people have used them, but they're really soft. I'm really excited to have them. I can't wait to start knitting with them. The reason why I got the small set, I was like, there was a lot of debating happening in my head about whether I should get the small set or the larger set and all of this. And so I got the small set is also like short tips, so the total length of the needle and the little, I guess, solid bit at the end of the cable. So all of this is 3.5 inches, and the bigger set with the full length needles is 5 inches. And I was sort of thinking, I was like, oh, is 5 inches more comfortable to knit with? Is like 3.5 inches going to be a bit too small and a bit uncomfortable to use on things other than small circumference? But then I had a thought, and I was like, I have the really small Chiagu short tips that I showed you earlier that I use on hats and socks and things, and I use those quite a lot, and I find them quite comfortable. And then the longer Chiagu ones that I have for jumpers and things, like I'm using on my green jumper, are the 4 inches. So Chiagu needles come in 4 and 5 inches, and the ones that I got were the 4 inches. And again, I find them very comfortable to knit with. And so I was thinking that 3.5 inches of the Lykke needles are actually it's not that big of a difference with the 4 inches. And because I'm also very comfortable with even shorter needles, then I assumed I know it's going to be completely fine. The reason that I also got this one as opposed this small set as opposed to the main larger one is because the main big set comes with needles up to like 12 millimeters. I think they've got like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 or something like this, and in addition to like smaller ones, the thinner ones. And honestly, I would never use those. I have those in my Chiagus. I have the full set, and I'm glad I have them if I ever need them. I haven't needed them so far. I think the largest needles that I've used so far have been 6 or 6.5 possibly. So yeah, I definitely I'm happy to have a set of really large needles in case I need them, but I definitely absolutely do not need to, and don't really want to, because it's quite expensive and I'm not going to use them. And so yeah, the small set that I end up getting, the short tips, goes from 3.25 to 6.5 or 6.5 millimeter, and that's perfect for me. Like those, I know that I will use most of them. So yeah, that was another reason that I wanted to get those. So yeah, it's 3.5, 3.25, 3.5, 3.75, and I think it's 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. So yeah, I think it's great. I can't wait to start using them and see how I get on with them. It comes with 3 cables that are, I think, a bit on the shorter side, like 20, 40, and 60 centimeters or something, but you can easily buy more cables for the Lykke needles, and so I think I will buy a 80 and a 100 because I plan to use this possibly for, or like definitely for the shawl that I want to make with the rose, alpaca rose yarn. I have other yarn that is alpaca and quite smooth and slippery that I think I will use wooden needles for that, so I might need a bit of a longer cable. There are connectors coming with the cables here, so I can connect 2 cables together and make a long one, but yeah, I think I'll just get a couple more cables and use those. So yeah, that was the, I don't know, 4th acquisition, I guess, if you count the book and everything. And this is something that I bought from Perth Yarn Festival yesterday, and I'm actually really happy. This and the green yarn are my only 2 purchases from the festival, and I was really happy because I felt like I was able to be quite intentional with what I bought, and I bought it for something specific that I have in mind. I didn't come back with a random one skein of yarn kind of things, because I have more than enough single skein for socks. I really don't want any more. And yeah, I'm trying not to, like, if I buy yarn, even if I don't know exactly what I'm going to make with it, I just want to make sure that I buy it in the quantity that is going to be easy to knit. So like if I intend to make, if I think, oh, that would be nice for a hat, even if I don't know the pattern, and I know 1 skein is enough. But if I would rather make a shawl, then I know I'm going to buy 2 skeins or 3. Sweaters also like 3 or 4 skeins, and so I know that I have enough, and I'm not left with that just 1 single skein that I don't really know what I'm going to do with. So yeah, I was really happy I was able to do this. I've got a couple more things that I would like to show you. One is not yarn either, but it's this. It's a yarn carrier, I guess. It's this Della I think it's called the Maker's Train Case, and I absolutely love it. And I know you're going to tell me that, well, you make bags. Why do you buy like yarn bags, project bags, basically? And yes, I do make bags. They're not a case like this, and also because my bags are like, they're work for me, and so sometimes I just don't want to use them because they're associated with work, and I just want to disconnect from work. And also the other reason is that I feel like I have to be quite careful with my bags, not to stain them, I guess, or to get them dirty, because I need them for photos and things like that for my website and my shop and Instagram and all of this. And so yeah, I'm always a bit careful about taking them out and about where they might get dirty, because I just need them for work. So yeah, so anyway, I got this one. I've been wanting one of these for so long, and a friend of mine has one that she's been bringing to Knit Night, and it's so nice, and so I decided to get it. I got it, it's the Della Q, like I said. I got it in that sort of dark red maroon shade. There's a bunch of shades, and yeah, it's beautiful. I use it every week when I go to Knit Night, and I'm super happy with it. It has those 2 handles like this, but it also has a what is it called, like a long handle, long cord, so you can wear it like a messenger bag kind of. And then inside it looks like this. So it looks like this inside, and so this is metal, so you've got little magnets, and so you can put like your sorry, I've got fluff in my nose. So you can put your pattern if you want, or you can, I think it works with like scissors or darning needles or whatever. You can just sort of have them rest on that and be stuck to that through the magnet. And then it has, I'm so bad at this, it has a tray here. It looks like that. It's really nice. Usually, because I only take this to Knit Night a lot of the time, I don't take my like handbag or anything like that, or backpack, so I can put my wallet and my phone here. And then that's the bottom of the case. I just left that still pouch that they give for, I guess, like moisture or whatever, but yeah. And so that is quite deep because the tray rests just on here, so the tray is just this bit, and then everything underneath is space for your yarn. And to me it's worked really well. I could see it not working as well as much when I'm towards the very end of a sweater, because it would take too much space, but up until now I've been able to put my sweater in that, and yeah, I think like, yeah, up until the very end. But also I find that when I'm knitting the sleeves on the sweater and I have the body to like carry and flip around and all of this, it's not usually a project I will take out with me, so it works fine. It works absolutely fine for socks, hats, whatever you want. You can put everything you want in there. And what is really fun too is that it's got those things here on each side, and that means that you can have your yarn at the bottom. You put your tray, all your things, and then you can feed the yarn through that and then knit, but your case is closed and like easy to carry. So I think it's really fun. So yeah, that's my Della Make a Strain case that I absolutely love and that I use all the time. Is there anything else that I wanted to show you in terms of acquisition? Yeah, just one last thing. So it's an acquisition. It's a bit of a different kind of acquisition. I just wanted to show it to you because it was really pretty, but I didn't pay for it and I'm not going to keep it. Basically, my friend Melinda of the Cam Yarn asked me if I could knit her a sock in their 100% Corriedale sock base that she could have as a sample for shows, and I was like, of course, no problem. So she gave me this one, so I will knit it and then give it back to her in the shape of socks, obviously, but it's so lovely that I wanted to show it to you anyway. It's like a really lovely dusty warm pink. The shade is, the colorway is called Azeria, and it's 100% non-superwash Corriedale, 400 meters per 100 gram sock yarn. So it's one of their nylon-free non-superwash bases, and it's beautiful. And I can't wait to knit something with it. I think I'll make, I don't know, what do you think? Because it's for a sample, so it's not necessarily a pair that she's gonna wear. So I was thinking, instead of making a pair of identical socks, I was gonna make one sock in fingering weight, so held just one strand, and then I was gonna make just another single sock held double for like kind of like a DK weight sock, because I think that it's kind of nice to see what it looks like that way as well. What do you think? Is that the kind of thing that you would like to see if you go to a yarn show or a yarn festival and like want to see samples of the yarn knitted up? Like having several options of how you can use it, I think would be a good idea, as opposed to having just one pair of two of the same socks. Let me know in the comment what you think. But yeah, it's beautiful, really beautiful yarn. I think now they have this yarn like permanently in their shop, their Corriedale base. So if you're looking to try no nylon, non-superwash sock yarn, then definitely have a look at their website. They have beautiful colorways and everything. So yeah, that is the last sort of acquisition that I have for today that I wanted to show you. And yeah, which brings us to the end of this podcast, which is good. I see it's about an hour now. I had a few, I guess, life and like shop news to share with you if you're interested. My summer has been busy, but I guess not incredibly exciting either. Hold on, I'm all tangled. There we go. Yeah, so in terms of, I guess I'll start with shop news. So very exciting development in the shop is that since July, I am working on my shop as my full-time job, which is really amazing. It was a big step for me to take. It was a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie, but I am so happy that I did that. So if you're new, my, I guess, day job for a very long time was as a translator and a pattern translator and a take editor. And then I had my shop on the side where I was making my bags and stitch markers and all of this. And yeah, the shop has been growing really, really well over the past year or so, and so I have decided to take it on full time. And I'm really happy, I'm really excited. It's been going really well. It's only been a couple of months, obviously, but it's been going really well. So yeah, hopefully it stays that way. So that is one of the very exciting news when it comes to the shop. Other news is that I just released an autumn collection. I guess I talked about stitch markers in the last episode, but they hadn't been released yet. So one of the new product in my shop since July is also embroidered stitch markers. I've shown you a few in this episode, but there's more on my website, which are really nice, really fun to make, really fun to use. And yeah, I just released an autumn collection, so with a lot of autumnal things, like mushrooms mostly, and then like autumn colored leaves and a hedgehog and acorns and things like that. I think it's really cute. I'm really happy with how it came out. They were released last week. I've had a bunch of orders for bags already, so bags may appear as sold out on my website. It's just I need a bit of time to make the ones that have been sold, and then I'll add more. I'm not really doing big shop updates anymore. I try to keep a constant flow of things, I guess, through my website, make sure there's things available regularly. So stitch markers, there should always be available, either ready to ship, because I try to make a big batch and then have them ready to ship so I can send them within a couple of days of when you order. If not, if the ready to ship one are sold out, they're always available as made to orders, and then I'll make it quickly and send it to you. The bags are made to order because I need you to choose the design that you like and the size and things like that. But I only list a few at any given time, so that I know that I can make them like within a week or 10 days, and then be able to have some more available, so that people don't have to wait. If they go to the website and see it sold out, they don't have to wait a month to be able to try and get another one, and there's no big rush of orders or anything. It's just a matter of waiting a few days so I can get through the ones that have been ordered, ship them, and then be able to make some more. So yeah, anyway, all the shop stuff will be linked to my shop, and everything will be in the description box below. What else have I been up to lately? I think I mentioned in the previous episode that I went to a wedding this summer and what did I do? Oh no, there we go. In Bulgaria. So my cousin was getting married, and her partner, now husband, is from Bulgaria, so they decided to have the wedding over there, and that was really, really lovely. I'd never been to Bulgaria before. I don't know that I would have gone if not for the wedding, because it was just like, I don't have anything against Bulgaria, it's just something that I was not really thinking about, I guess. And it was really lovely to be there. Like, it was a great occasion to go and visit this country. We weren't there for very long because we didn't have a lot of time off, but we got to explore a little bit and then spent a couple of full days with my family for the wedding, which was absolutely lovely. A lot of them I hadn't seen yet since before COVID, so it was nice to see them and catch up with them. I think I mentioned in a previous episode that I was going to knit myself some sort of a shawl or something for the wedding in case it got a bit cool. First of all, I didn't have time to do it. Second of all, it would have been absolutely useless because it was so warm. It wasn't really hot that it was very uncomfortable, but it was definitely warm enough that I didn't need a shawl. What I did though, and I was really happy about that, is I sewed my dress to wear at the wedding, and I'll put a picture here. And yeah, I like the fit, I like the fabric. It was really lovely to sew. So yeah, it was, I don't know, I was really excited about that. I sewed a couple more dresses that I was wearing there because obviously living in Scotland, I did not have really any summer dresses because it's not like I guess this year we had a couple of really warm days and I could have worn them, but before I don't know, there wasn't really any use for them. So it was nice to sew some, and I picked patterns and fabrics that I knew I could wear in winter as well, with tights and things, so they're not just the one dress I saw and that I sewed and I'm never gonna wear again. And yeah, as you can tell, I've been doing a lot of sewing. I'm not really sharing it here because I don't know, there's a lot of it, and I think maybe it would be a bit boring. I don't know if you're coming here for the sewing, but if you want to see them, let me know, and I might just one episode, or maybe like once every quarter or something, I might add a bit of a sewing section at the end of an episode where I show you what I've been sewing, and yeah, let me know. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I forgot anything that I wanted to say. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you're a new viewer, please consider subscribing if you enjoyed this episode. That really helps with YouTube, I guess. It helps make my podcast more visible to other people who might like it. And leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, because again, it helps, and it's really really helpful. And yeah, I will see you next time. I promise to do my best to not wait another 3 months to record, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that'll be fine. I am going to visit my dad at the end of October, so ideally I'd like to record before that. I'm going to spend a week at his, he has like a kind of a cottage kind of house in France, in southeast France, that I'm really excited to go to. He moved there about a year ago, so I haven't seen it because I haven't been back home in a long time. My family's come and visited me here, but I haven't been back to France since before COVID, so I'm really excited to go there. I'm going with my husband. We're going to spend a whole week there. Hopefully it's going to be a very chill, relaxing week, because we do need the rest. We've been so busy, the two of us, with work and all of this, so yeah, we do need the rest, and I'm really looking forward to that. The end of October is still really good weather in southern France, so we plan to go on a lot of nice walks. I'll see my sister and my mom. I'm planning to go to, there's this fabric store that is absolutely amazing near where they are, that I'm planning to go to and stock up on a lot of fabric. And yeah, maybe order myself some French yarn that I can't find here and have it delivered to my dad. We're flying with Air France, so the luggage allowance is pretty nice, and so we'll each have our small carry-on luggage and backpacks, and then I'm also bringing a big like hold luggage, that the one that you have to like leave, that you don't take on the plane with you. That is going to be probably mostly empty when I go there, but I think I might come back full of fabric and yarn and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to that, but hopefully I will talk to you before that. I am going to stop rambling now and wish you a very lovely day. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!